You are with me in the garden today, and we're going to pick some sugar snap peas. And while we're doing that, I'm just going to go ahead and give you some tips about them, how to preserve them, or how I'm going to preserve them, and just some good things to know, some that I didn't know that I just learned. I'm Chrissy from Up the Windy Lane, and I am so glad that you are here and going to learn this along with me. So let's get started. So I have my basket and my snips. Now I'm going to tell on myself a little bit. If I come out here and I see that there's some to be picked, I usually just snap them off with my hands, which you can do. You just have to be really careful because these are actually pretty fragile, I guess. They don't bend a whole lot, so if you try to bend them, they do kind of break. Now, an interesting thing that I did find out, I think I planted these in February, so they've been producing for a little bit. I have gotten a few harvests off of them. I usually come out here every day and walk through, or at least try to every day, and pick some. Sometimes I'll just pick some while I'm out here and eat them. And so, but one of the interesting things that I found out just recently is that you can actually eat this whole plant. So these are pretty tender, and you can actually clip off the leaves and the stems, so the whole plant is edible, and you can stir fry them. The peas, actually the pods, you can put them in soups. Now, I actually didn't know that there was a sugar snap pea that wasn't a vine. I really love these. These are actually two different varieties that I have on each side of the trellis, but they are sugar snap peas, and I think one of them is sugar daddy snap pea or something like that. But they are really good. They produce really well. Some of them you'll probably see that I've actually missed, and that's the only thing. You really have to pay attention because everything is green on this plant, so it's really easy sometimes to miss some of the pods. So here you can see some of the pods. These are actually, these will probably be okay. These are actually a little bit bigger, but these aren't bad. But we want to start from the bottom and work our way up because they bloom from the bottom. But if you can see, maybe some of these over here, yeah, these are kind of looking a little wonky. I will probably go ahead and pick these though, because if I don't, I believe this plant will start to think that it's time to quit, producing, but produce like these will get bigger and they'll actually go to seed. Now, I mean, I could leave, I really would like to have some seeds. So, I mean, I could leave this middle section to go to seed, and I mean, that would be fine, just let it die back. I haven't quite decided what I want to do with that yet, but I am eventually going to let some of these die back. And like the leaves are starting to die back on the very bottom, so I mean, they're not going to have too much more. They like cooler weather, and so I did plant these early before spring, and they've done really well. I actually planted this side later than I planted this side, so I'm not really sure if these are just really good or maybe the soil is better over here. But this is actually a new bed where this had beets in it along with these, so it just could be the variety as well. These are a little bit more bushier, it seems. Even though they're vining, these do seem a little bit more bushier. These seem a little bit more spread out, and so that might be, maybe that's the difference. They're just kind of spreading upwards a little bit more, and these are a little bit bushier. But let's go ahead and harvest some of these, and I will give you some tips and just some interesting facts. So here we have one of these, and I'm just now, normally I would just use my fingernail and go right above the sugar snap pea and just snap it off with my finger like that. And that's how I usually do that whenever I come out here. And I have been known to just do them right off the plant, but you can destroy the plant. You can pull it out. So you can just bring your snips in here and just snip it right above the pea, if your snips work very well. I use these snips for probably everything, so they may not work super great. So I'm just kind of going from the bottom and working my way up, just kind of looking and seeing what I have. Like I said, these can hide pretty well. You're probably seeing some that I can't see right now. That's how it usually works. All right, let's see if we can find some over here. Yeah, there's some more hiding on me. So not a too bad of a harvest for this morning. I did pick a few yesterday, and then the day before that I probably got double this amount. So it's not too bad. I'm gonna go ahead and give you some tips though when harvesting sugar snap peas, and one of them is that you want to go ahead and pick them. If you have 5 sugar snap peas on your plant, you want to go ahead and pick those, because they're just going to keep putting energy into those if you don't pick them. So when you pick them, it encourages new growth, new blossoms, and more sugar snap peas. So you definitely want to go ahead and just pick them every day or every other day, no matter how many you get, because eventually they're going to produce a lot. So they're kind of like cucumbers in that aspect. When you get cucumbers on, when they get the size that they're supposed to be, or the size you want to go ahead and pick those, because otherwise they just keep putting energy in, and they won't, put the energy where you want it to go and into new produce. My other tip is to plant them like I have planted them. So they are vining, so they can fit pretty much anywhere where you have a good amount of sun. And I have actually planted them in the sides of 2 raised beds, and they are growing up on the trellis. So this bed behind me here was full of beets. It actually has a couple of tomatoes coming up volunteer, but it was full of beets, and these were just planted along the side, like an inch or 2 from the edge of the bed, and they're doing really well. Same thing with the other ones. They came up, and they will go right up on the trellis. Sometimes on this side I have to encourage them a little bit and to stay on there, but that is what those are really good for, is they don't take up a whole lot of space, and you can kind of tuck them in corners or tuck them along the sides, and they will come up really well. I would encourage you to grow these. My little grandson loves these, and so sometimes we come out here when he's here and we'll pick a few and we just eat them in the garden. So it's really good, and it's really good for them to know where food comes from. So it's really encouraging that he likes sugar snap peas. So we come out here and kind of munch on them sometimes, or take them back to the patio. But I'm going to take these in. I have quite a few in the fridge already that we can eat. So I think I'm going to take these and the ones that I picked the other day. I am going to clean them off a little bit, and then I may blanch them. I'm going to try this. I may blanch them and freeze them, and then I can use them for stir fries. So I'm going to freeze them in maybe little packages and go ahead and put those in the freezer and label those, of course. Don't forget that. And then I will have sugar snap peas for over the winter, like for stir fries and all that kind of stuff. And then before, once this starts dying back, instead of just pulling them out and getting rid of them, I would probably pull them out and give them to the chickens or Annabelle or the goats. But I can, once they start slowing down, or I'm just having enough sugar snap peas, I could actually come through here and snip off the plants, snip off the leaves, and save those and use those for stir fries as well. So because you can use the whole plant, as I'm pretty sure the French word is mange tout. Mange tout means eat it all. I think so. I think that's what I heard. So I thought that was kind of cool. So you can eat it all, because you can eat everything on this plant. So that is really encouraging. I love those kind of plants. They're like an all-purpose plant. I don't know. But be sure to check that out. These are pretty cool. They grow really fast and produce quite a bit. And since you can eat the whole plant, they're really good for that. So I encourage you to plant these. And if you have a different kind, like I think there is a purple one, that would be really cool. Those would be much easier to see, because I'm probably going to walk through here later and see some that I did not pick. But let me know in the comments if you have grown a different type, maybe the purple or different color one that you really like or really enjoy, maybe some other tips that you have or anything like that. Really quick, I do have this really weird looking one. I'm wondering, we're not going to eat this one. I'm wondering if I let this dry, if this one will actually grow more plants next year, because it has, I don't know. The pods inside are really big, and I'm wondering if that is the case. So this one will not be for eating. This one might be an experiment. I don't know. We'll wait and see. I'll just let it dry and label it and see what happens. But thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to be lovely lights today.